At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Well, happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is Friday. And we have some very handsome men in the studio today, and we're going to talk about all things Jackson Ironmen football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, very, very good. Welcome. We're so happy to have you here. And first off, can you all introduce yourselves?
I'm Drew Wiley.
I'm Cade Wolford.
And Eli Brown.
All right. So tell us what positions you play too.
Play linebacker and tight end.
I play running back and then corner.
And running back and safety.
Okay. So I'm sensing that if I pick up my inner girl football things. So in high school, you're playing both sides of the field then? Like or both like offense and defense is what I'm trying to say.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Does that really happen?
Yeah, it's pretty tiring, but
I was going to say, so do you ever get out of the game?
Sometimes.
Yeah, you got your guys that'll come in and sub for you and give you a break every now and again. But
Okay, that is wild. Well, you guys are captains of the Jackson Ironmen football team this year, so congratulations.
Thank you.
Very good. And how does that come to be?
well, your teammates will have a day where they our whole team, every player votes on 3 guys that they want to be the captains of the team, or who throughout the summer they think have been good leaders. So it's always 3 to 4 seniors. So.
Okay, that's so cool. So that's a great honor. I mean, that has to be like so exciting for you all.
Yeah, definitely.
So what, as captains, what are kind of your responsibilities?
You just kind of oversee anything that,
You just make sure everybody's getting to practice on time. You make sure everybody's grades are good enough to keep playing, and really just hold everyone accountable on the team.
Yeah.
So do you have to be tutors too then?
No, not really.
So you have to be the leaders of the team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you have coaches, obviously, and Coach Hall's here. He's being all shy and won't come in and talk with us this morning. Actually, we just only had 3 chairs. So, but no, he'll be back, and we'll talk football with Coach Hall at some other time. But so no, you have to be the leaders. You have to do all of the things that to keep everybody in line, right?
Yeah.
So, do you have to have like good grades to play?
Yeah. I mean, there's a minimum GPA that you have to play any sport in high school. So all of our guys are above that.
I think it's 2.0. Yeah.
Okay. Well, very good. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like to keep everybody doing all the stuff they're supposed to do. All right, so let's talk about the season. You guys Coach Hall was telling me you all had a scrimmage, and I didn't know this was like a thing. I thought scrimmages were just like you scrimmaged like within your own team, but he was saying that you guys have 2 kind of outside scrimmages. One was last weekend, one's tonight, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So kind of the way we do things, we scrimmaged 2 very good teams right off the bat. Last week we had Ashland Blazer out of Kentucky. They've been to the state title several times in the past couple of years. Last year they were in the state semifinal. So we went there and had a very hard scrimmage with them, and then we'll come back tonight and scrimmage Dayton Bellbrook, and they're the real deal as well. So
Okay. And then, so tell us, and he was telling me off the air as well, Coach, was, what's the difference between like a scrimmage and because I said, well, who won the scrimmage? And he said, well, the other team, but it doesn't really matter because scrimmages aren't really necessarily about who wins or loses. It's about kind of like executing plays and things like that. So what do you think about that? Is that true?
Yeah, it's really just it's really just competition based. Like last week, the quarterbacks were dead, so like you couldn't sack the quarterback. You just had to go tap them up. So
Well, that's no fun.
Sometimes
No, I'm just kidding.
sometimes they would throw the ball after they were tagged up. So it's not really like true football, I guess. I mean, yeah.
Because he was saying it's like 10 plays and then 10 plays, and you just go back and forth.
It's not really drives and one.
So like turnovers don't matter, really. Like if they fumbled the ball and we got it, they get the ball back. It's not
because it's 10 plays.
Right.
Yeah.
So you get 10 plays.
Yeah, regardless
Okay.
of how the plays go.
So, okay, that makes a lot of sense in why it doesn't really matter who wins or loses. It's like as long as you executed the plays right and all that.
Yeah.
So, can somebody come and watch the scrimmage tonight if
they're
they
open to the
want
public.
to?
6:30 tonight.
6:30 tonight?
Yep.
Yeah. And so is it free or do you have to get
I don't
tickets
know.
or
I'm pretty sure tonight is free. Last week at their place it was $5 or something, but tonight I think it's free at ours.
Okay, so you just come up to Jackson High School tonight.
Yep.
Watch, and who are you scrimmaging tonight?
Bellbrook.
Dayton Bellbrook. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so then you guys will have to go there next year, which that's a haul.
Yeah. Well, we'll be graduating, but we went there last year. and
Oh, yeah,
It's
yeah.
definitely
Okay.
a haul. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. So let's talk about the regular season and how's the team going to do this year? You guys are seniors. I know that you're like, okay, this is my senior year. I want to be doing good. So how's it going?
We have really high expectations. I mean, take every game at a time,
Mhm.
always try to go 1-0. And I mean, you really think you can win every single game. And you got to believe that. Everybody has to have confidence in the team.
Oh,
Graduated a lot of seniors last year, but nothing changes here. Winning is a standard. So
that's right. Eli, what do you think?
I mean, I think we graduated like 18 seniors.
Oh, wow.
So we got a lot of young guys that are going to be playing, but I mean, Jackson football, so we'll step up.
That's right, because you all been playing forever.
yeah.
100,000 years probably seems like, right?
Yeah.
So, all right. So the team, so you'll be scrimmaging tonight. When's your first real game?
Next Friday against Logan at home.
Okay.
7:30.
Is Logan going to be good?
Yeah. I mean, every team that we play this year will be a good test for us. We do that so we can take this. Jackson's never won a regional championship before, and that's what we want to get to. So, taking the regular season very serious and playing teams that are very difficult is something that needs to be done to get there.
And it seems to me like what Drew said is that you have to take each game at a time. Like you can't be thinking 3 games ahead because that's how bad
Yeah.
things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, well, look, James gave me the schedule. How nice of him. So now I know that Coach Hall is notorious for not letting you all play any pansy teams. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does that mean to you? Like, do you would you rather start out with playing a pansy team, or do you want to just like get in there and start kicking butt?
From my standpoint, like I don't really like to play a team that's not any good because like you're out of the game by halftime and they're putting in the younger kids. to
So you
some
don't get to
playing
play
time.
as much.
You don't get to play the whole time, and I love football, so I want to be in there as much as possible.
Doesn't make you any better.
It's
Yeah,
definitely a better feeling beating a good team than just running over somebody. So
Well, that makes sense. And even, I mean, God forbid you lose, at least you lost to like somebody that was super good. And
Right.
you're
Yeah,
just
you,
like,
you don't want to have those games where you, like you were saying about looking ahead. You can't look ahead any games in our schedule because once you do that, you're looking over a team that you've got to play this week, and something
Yeah.
bad happens.
So, do you guys play other sports?
I play baseball.
Just football for me.
I run track.
Run track? Okay. So, you guys are probably doing, I mean, I know that some of them kind of overlap a little bit, but what have you been doing this summer and throughout the year? I mean, football, I feel like, is kind of a year round sport now. I think a lot of sports are kind of year round sports now. What do you guys have to do to prepare for the season?
Well, we start our off-season lifting about a month after the last season ended. So,
Okay.
Yeah,
So, it really is year round.
yeah. So once I'm not sure if we came back before Christmas break or after, but soon after the season was over last year, we were already back in the weight room at 6:30 in the morning before school, getting the lift in, and then once summer
Great.
started, we
Sounds
started our
fun.
summer workouts. So.
Yeah, and you work out all summer too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Also.
So you don't get that, you don't get a lounge by the pool all day.
Yeah, no.
Nope, none of that.
It's
We get, like,
about
1 week
11,
off.
11 months a year we're going to football. So
My goodness. So who's going to be, I'm looking down through your schedule here and I see Ironton, I see Wheelersburg, I see some of those names that we all, know have been football powerhouses throughout the years, Logan even. Who is going to be your toughest test prediction-wise?
Well, Ironton's the only team that we've lost to 2 times in the last 2 years.
Uh-oh.
So,
yeah.
I mean, everyone else we've been able to beat in the past 2 years. So we really think there'll be a challenge, but we're ready for it.
Yeah, I'd say Ironton, Wheelersburg, and then we've also got Hamilton Ross out of the Cincinnati, Dayton area, I think. We never played them before, so I'm sure that'll be a pretty hard test. They're coming to Jackson week 5. So
What do you think?
I mean, probably Ironton. Who knows about Hamilton Ross, really, but I think they'll be good, too. So.
And let's see, Ironton was the infamous ESPN run the kickback game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I'd say you guys
I don't
are
like talking
really.
about that one
I
too
know
much.
that's the game we would all like to forget. Although that was it was fantastic. Let's just be honest. It didn't work out well for the Jackson Ironmen, but that was a pretty fantastic game.
yeah.
As somebody that was watching it. But yeah, we won't talk about that. So you guys got to get your revenge this year.
Yeah, I
say
mean,
that.
even last year they had a drive at the end of the game to beat us. So we've been right there neck and neck the past
Yeah.
2 years. So we really want to
Third time's a charm.
be able to finish the job this
Hopefully,
year.
maybe.
I think you'll do it.
Yeah.
So all right. So Coach Hall was telling me, I was asking him off the air too, like, how do you pick? How do you have a say in like what teams you play? And he said, of course, the conference is the conference, but you guys you get to pick, or he does, or the athletic director, whomever gets to pick who you all play. Who are you looking forward most to playing?
The games we just mentioned, it'll be the hardest. Ironton, Wheelersburg, and Hamilton Ross. We love those games that are.
So you're not scared?
No.
No.
Like, bring it on?
Yeah, you got to
yeah.
embrace it.
Yeah.
You really do.
Yeah, that's right. So what would you say to kids that were like, are sitting out there today watching you guys? And I mean, let's just be honest, to the Pee Wee players and whatever, y'all are rock stars right now. And I'm sure that you kind of contribute to maybe a little bit meeting with them and all that. But what would you say to those little football players that are out there watching you guys today and looking up to you?
I mean, we were those kids. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel that long ago that we were those kids, and it went by so quick. And as long as they work hard, they just keep at it, and they'll go far.
Yeah, I remember, like, my dad was a coach when I was younger, so I was on the sidelines with those players, and I looked up to them heavily. Like,
Yeah.
they were my idols back
Yeah.
then. So it's definitely cool to see what it's like being on the other end of that now, being the player that they look up to. So my advice to them, just keep it the game, develop the love for it, and that'll take you.
Okay.
Pretty
Eli,
far.
what do you think?
I mean, I've been playing since 2nd grade, so it's been a long ride, but it's gone quick. So I would just say to cherish it because it'll go quick and you'll miss it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you guys, have a bond that you'll have forever. And that's pretty cool, too, as a team. A team is a team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and you all been playing with each other for a long time. So what does your future lie? Do you all know what's next after this year, after your senior year?
Well, really, after this year, I want to pursue a career in the military.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I want to go to one of the service academies or go through ROTC.
Okay.
So I really think that'd be good for me, and holding some traditional football values through that.
Awesome. Okay.
So right now I'm gonna play football in college. I've got a couple offers to go play. I'm not sure where I'm going to play yet, but should be making a decision pretty soon. I'll probably be majoring in business wherever I go. So
Okay. Very good.
I'm planning on majoring in engineering somewhere, so
Okay.
don't know where for sure yet, but
All right. Very good. Well, is there anything else you would like to tell our viewers, while you're here today? You guys have the microphones and you're, our football leaders here in Jackson. And I know as being the captains, the weight of the world's on your shoulders, and just being a Jackson Ironman, the weight of the world's on your shoulders. They're expected to win and all that. And I know that has to weigh on you a little bit, but it probably encourages you as well.
Yeah, I mean, we love it. The whole community comes out on Friday nights, and we play difficult teams every week. It's something the competition's something we definitely cherish throughout the year. So we're excited to get it underway.
Cool.
Yeah, for sure.
I just appreciate the community sport. It's a great atmosphere to play in Jackson.
Yeah.
It really is. Like a lot of communities aren't like that. So
You're right. That's good. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Think so too, Drew?
Yeah. What I was gonna say is just we really feed off the community. When them showing out and supporting us is really, really nice.
Yeah, I think so. And we definitely, living down here in Southern Ohio, we all do, stand up for each other and support each other. And I think that's one of the great things. You can live in a big city, but everybody down here knows everybody. I think I went to school with your parents and whatever. So it's like, we all know each other. So it's just like a thing. So anyway, well, good luck, guys, this coming season.
Thank
and
you.
I hope you come back and see us during the season sometime.
definitely.
And we'll talk about how it's going.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And be good leaders because everybody's looking up to you.
Oh, yeah.
No
we'll try.
pressure or anything, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, very good. Okay. Well, Dylan, I know we're waiting on Pete Wilson to come in. So while we're doing that, and the guys want to get out of here because you guys are going to McDonald's for breakfast, right? I hear.
That's right.
Yeah, we got a breakfast for our scrimmage tonight.
So thanks, Brad Munn.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yep.
Brad Munn. Even though you suck at the basketball poll that you didn't fill out, but that's a whole other story. Did you hear about that?
No.
Someone. So we do a March Madness poll here, like a contest, and somebody filled out a bracket and put Brad Munn's name on it, but it really wasn't him. So every week we would be like, and Brad Munn is last in the poll again. It was great. So we had a lot of fun with him on that one. So you can make fun of him if you see him.
All right.
Say, why can't you pick basketball teams? So, all right, get out of here. Go eat some biscuits and gravy. Have a good time.
Thank you very much.
And good
Thanks
luck
for having
tonight.
us.
Yeah, good luck this season. We'll be seeing you soon. All right. I know you're wondering about the weather forecast for your weekend. And it's actually not looking too bad. That chance of rain not in the forecast. Pretty warm temperatures. So today's going to be kind of your most mellow of the temperature wise anyway, with partly cloudy skies, highs around 87 degrees. For tomorrow on Saturday, boy, it's going to be a hot one, partly cloudy, highs around 90 degrees. And then Sunday, partly cloudy with highs around 89 degrees. And chair over there. So then beginning of your work week, a little bit of rain in the forecast, but not too bad. And a little more mellow temperatures. So we're going to go with that. Okay, so we do have still the Athens and the Ross County Fairs going on this weekend. While we're waiting on Pete to come over, or James are you going to come over? Or
Pete's on his way.
Pete's on his way. Okay, all right. Well, here.
I'll read the fair with you.
There you go. All right. So at the Ross County Fair, to kind of finish up the week, I was looking through just to see. It's a little bit easier to read this one, I think.
At Athens, so today is
Here we go.
the ultimate showmanship begins in the swine arena because they haven't released the hogs yet, I guess.
Hogs.
And then the rides are open from noon until midnight.
Nice.
Junior livestock sale starts at 3, and at 7 is the horse pull on the grandstand.
Okay. And today at the Ross County Fair, the did we ever figure out how to pronounce it? Is it the Weegens or the Wiegans or
Pete,
Pete.
the bluegrass group, is it Wiggins or Wygans?
Weegens? Anyway, they're going to be at the Ross County Fair tonight. The WEGIANS's. Also, Lumberjack Show, the Tinsmithing, the Hypnotist will all be at the Ross County Fair tonight. And as far as, of course, the market things go, they're going to have the sale tonight.
Okay.
So, all of that. And then tomorrow on Saturday, they're going to have fireworks, and I thought there was something else. crush the Bon Jovi tribute band
All right.
at the Ross County Fair.
All
There you
right.
go.
Well, speaking of crushes, invite Pete Wilson over here. He's going to crush it with some news.
Oh, come on over, Pete. Good segue. He's like, you all are stupid. You don't have your red shirt on for the Jackson Ironmen scrimmage tonight?
That's only regular season.
Oh, okay. Just the red shirt breaks
Regular
out for
season
regular
and broadcast.
season. Gotcha. Okay. So how's it going, Pete Wilson?
Oh, just a busy time. You know,
Yeah.
suddenly you said segue. It's like, I know that it's still the middle of August, but it's like it's fall.
It
School is about ready to start.
Can you believe it?
The football, all the fall sports is kicking in. They've been practicing. The cheerleaders are doing their tumbling. You know, we're turning the page, even though the autumnal equinox is not for another month or so.
That's exactly right. But here we are.
All right, yeah, the stars and the planets are not aligned with the activities calendar,
That's right.
but that's okay. We're on board.
Hey, we're on board.
All right. Well, let's talk about some different things happening in the news, both good and bad. I guess one of the highlight things that happened, and we're going to have a detailed report in our Saturday paper. Our editorial assistant, Alex Shope, who's up for anything I want him to do, covered a protest rally that was held in MacArthur yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
And this is in connection with the recent death of Dakota Williams.
Okay.
Dakota Williams, of course, the 28-year-old Jackson area resident who died on July the 27th following an incident at a MacArthur residence. Allegedly, Dakota was the victim of what was called an assault that was described as a beating and torturing by family members.
Yeah.
Now, he died a little later at Holzer Medical Center Hospital. The Vinton County Sheriff's Office has arrested 40-year-old James Darrell Coleman in connection with the incident. Coleman has been charged with felonious assault. There is Mr. Coleman. He has been tied to, implicated in the assault, beating, whatever you want to describe it, that happened to Dakota Williams. The big $64,000 question is, was it that assault that caused Mr. Williams's death? If it did, you know, a felonious assault charge
Then,
could morph into
sure.
something much more serious.
Yeah.
And we have a call in to the Vinton County Sheriff's Office. We're waiting for a call back. But as far as we know, that charge still stands as it is right now. As a matter of fact, Coleman was able to make bond, a $50,000 bond, and he is out right now on that bond. He had a hearing yesterday in Vinton County Court, a preliminary hearing where the point was to have the case bound over to the Common Pleas Court if the judge felt there was enough evidence to do so.
Okay.
As it turned out, that hearing was not held because Coleman wants to secure his own attorney, and that's going to take a little time. He has that right.
Gotcha.
So it was postponed to a future date that has not yet been announced. But the incident yesterday, the protest rally, was by members of the Dakota Williams family. And here you see them along Market Street, that is alongside the courthouse there, and right in the middle of downtown MacArthur. You can see that they had signs. Some of them had shirts.
Sure.
That were support shirts. Justice for Dakota was their chant,
Okay.
was their theme of the rally. And you know, I'm not going to give away everything in Alex's story, but it is basically a demand for justice that Mr. Coleman or whoever be accountable for Dakota's death. They certainly feel that that beating and torturing, which is how the family has described it on social media,
Right.
they feel that was the cause of, you know, their relative's death, Dakota
Okay.
Williams's death. The Vinton County Sheriff's Office is continuing its investigation. As far as we know, it's still going on. They obviously are going to depend largely on what those autopsy results say was the cause of death.
Yeah, I mean, that will get to the bottom of it, won't it?
They will. And one of the things that that they wanted to put before the public at this protest rally is they're watching, waiting, and pushing for justice in this case in their mind. They expressed the family members that talked with Alex Shope were very critical of the MacArthur Police Department and MacArthur Police Chief Matt Kite because and this is it's coming from the family now, not from me. But they felt that no charge was filed immediately. They felt like something wasn't being done quickly enough in that case because it started out as a MacArthur Police Department investigation. Mm-hmm. At some point, not long after that incident happened, and that happened on July the 27th, the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, which also has jurisdiction over the whole county, was called. They conducted an investigation, maybe not in concert with the MacArthur Police Department, but their own, and they ended up charging Mr. Coleman with felonious assault. Okay. And the family was happy about that, but they feel, that a more serious charge or charges should come. Okay. As of right now, Coleman is the only person arrested. When I talked with Aaron Irvin, who is the chief deputy of the Vinton County Sheriff's Office, he did not rule out other people being arrested or charged as well in connection with this incident. It took place at 411 South Market Street. And we were told, not able to totally confirm this, but we were told that Coleman was actually outside the house just very near this protest rally when it occurred. And so that was kind of like a juxtaposition. It was a little tense, I'm sure. Mm-hmm. But we will certainly be reporting on that in our Saturday paper, and that story will be online as well as we continue to follow that case. All right, there's another criminal case that is warming up in Gallia County. Normally, we don't skip over the county line, but this is a pretty hot one.
This might take the cake as one of the strangest ones I've seen in a while.
Right, and
read.
And this has to do with a school district, a sports program, and a high school that is in our area that our local high schools are very familiar with because of sports and all like that. Yeah. But what happened yesterday? This was announced yesterday afternoon. But a former River Valley High School, this is in Gallia County, a former River Valley High School cheerleading coach and substitute teacher has been indicted on 6 felony charges. And the indictment specifies that for a period of 2003 to 2016, that's a long time.
That's a very long time.
The defendant here, who is Michelle Page Huck, was charged with unlawful sexual conduct with a minor due to incidents involving multiple victims over a 13-year period. The Gallia County Sheriff's Office said that an exhaustive investigation was done that involved not only the local prosecutor and the sheriff's office, but 2 special prosecutors, one from the state attorney general's office, one who is the Adams County prosecutor who came in to work on this case. Okay. And it specifies that Miss Huck unlawfully engaged in sexual relationships with multiple students between the ages of 3 and 16. The indictment says...
13 and 16.
Between the ages of, did I say what?
3.
No, 13 and 16. Yeah. Thank you. The evidence portrays a disturbing pattern of abuse, all committed by an individual entrusted with the care and mentorship of teens. The allegations center around the school's wrestling team, which was coached by Miss Huck's husband, Matthew Huck. So these incidents, or at least most of them, involve apparently wrestling athletes. Yes. Wrestling athletes. And so these are third degree felony charges. If Miss Huck is convicted, there could be a maximum prison sentence of 30 years, a maximum fine of $60,000, and her registration as a sex offender that would continue for 25 years. This is considered to be an ongoing investigation, although there's been an indictment. Detectives are continuing to gather evidence and speak with potential witnesses, so there may be other people who come forward as a result of this coming out now. But one of the things that David Kelly said, he's the special prosecutor from Adams County, he said, uncovering the truth after years of hidden evil required a lot of effort and careful investigation. These law enforcement professionals stepped up and made a real difference. And A statement was also made by the investigators and the prosecutors involved that a lot of courage was shown by the young people
Sure.
who finally stood up and said what they allege happened to them.
Let me ask you this, Pete, and I bet you don't know the answer, but this question was posed to me last night. Is there any indication or not that, I mean, these obviously were the husband's wrestlers, allegedly. Was there any indication that the husband knew about these incidents?
I would have to say on the face of it, no, because there's no charges. He was not indicted.
That's what-
Now, that's something that may come.
I was like, whoa, that's a fair question. I don't know.
Right. And no, it's certainly there's a cloud of suspicion there since he's the husband, since he's the coach and
And the
she's
husband,
the wife, and her access to the wrestling students may have come because of
Of him being
the
coach.
fact they're married,
Yeah.
and that he is around those kids a lot as their coach. But they say that this is a deeply troubling case that involves a betrayal of trust and innocence. This evidence gathered so far paints a grim picture of a grown woman who used her position as a trusted adult and mentor to take advantage of these boys. Now, once again, the charge is unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. It's hard to know exactly what that means, but there are higher level felony charges such as rape, and those are not in this indictment.
And is there a double standard for this, Pete?
I don't know. I mean,
Is it-
prosecutors interpret things maybe in different
different
ways.
that it's a girl versus a boy? Allegedly committing these crimes. Is there the double standard? And I don't know. It would be interesting to follow this and see.
Right. It would be very hard. But here's the thing. When you're, I got to be careful because I'm not a lawyer, but I know the
Correct.
age makes a difference.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter on a certain age, when you're so young, it doesn't matter if there's consensual sex or sexual conduct. It is still a crime. Even if it's determined that, the young people who are juveniles,
We're willing participants.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Because it's perceived that they were taken advantage
Right,
of.
exactly. So that case, that just rolled out of Gallia County. And, the thing that comes out at you is the relationship deal. The husband and the wife, the fact that the husband was the wrestling coach, and the access apparently to the wrestling students through the wife and through the wrestling program.
I'm just going to
And
tell
the fact
you.
that it's over a 13-year
13-year
period. They didn't say how many victims. They said multiple victims.
You watch it.
So
this
that
doesn't-
makes you wonder too, because if it's 2 or 3, wouldn't they maybe say 2 or 3?
Right.
However, I believe. Let me look at this. I believe that right now there are six third-degree felony charges. 6. So
Okay.
that could mean that they only went so far so they could make charges, but there could be more, or that's enough to go forward with the case, or those are ones that they feel the most secure with their prosecution. You have to speculate a little bit and read between the lines here, but this just came out yesterday.
We're going to be lucky if this doesn't hit the national news, Pete.
A
A lot less has.
2 years, a Lifetime movie, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. It is. When
It's
when
bizarre,
it
to say
hits
the least.
in your hometown or close to your
Yeah.
backyard, it is an eye opener for sure.
Yeah. Stuff
It
doesn't happen.
lets you know it's just not something, in a faraway city or something that is crazy.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder sometimes if there are other things that never see the light of day. Probably there are, aren't there?
100%, yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Of course, the thing that affects so many people is back to school.
Yes.
We're in that mode now. And school starts next week in 3 of our local districts. As a matter of fact, Wednesday is the 16th, and that is the first day for students in the Jackson, Vinton County, and Oak Hill school districts. Wellston is not until August the 23rd, a week later. That's
Okay.
also a Wednesday. Now, here is the latest big news from our local school front. The Buckeye Hills Career Center. This rumor was out before, but it was not really confirmed by the school until yesterday.
Okay.
The Buckeye Hills Career Center is going to have a late start to the school year
Oh.
because of damages in the building due to a water line break.
Oh, okay.
Right, and this was in the works, and it was confirmed by the board when they had their monthly meeting. I believe that was on the 7th, on Monday, and recent damages from a water line break have resulted in the Buckeye Hills Career Center delaying the start of the 2023-2024 school year. I did a quick search, was not able to find out exactly when they were going to start school, but I was thinking it was this week as well. Instead, their first day is going to be September the 5th.
Okay.
So we're back to what it used to
Wow,
be
how it used
when
to
I
be.
went to school
Right.
after Labor Day.
The old days
The
after Labor Day.
And one of the reasons why, just a little aside, it was because it was too doggone hot to go to school.
Well, we didn't have
now
air
that-
conditioning
now-
back then,
Now
did
that's
we?
not a problem, is it, with all of our new schools? But Buckeye Hills Superintendent Jamie Nash, in making the announcement, said that the teachers will report on August the 28th.
Okay.
The first day for students will be Tuesday, September 5. And the revised calendar now, and I'm not sure all the specific changes, but now the last day of school is going to be May the 31st. And I'm sure that other adjustments were maybe made within the school year to cut
Probably
off some breaks,
spring
maybe
breaks or something
on holiday
like that.
breaks and like that, because they didn't want to end the school year too much later than what they normally do. But what happened was, not a lot of detail, but they said, but this is a statement directly from the superintendent. Due to the repairs from last week's emergency water line damage within the high school, these date changes are necessary. I know these changes impact all of us, and I genuinely wish we didn't have to do them. However, we had to make difficult decisions around multiple variables. And so, it's obviously doing whatever they need to do to get that school building ready. He used the word damages. I'm not exactly sure what the extent of and the nature of those damages
Water
were.
can do a lot of damage.
Right. So some other things that are happening real quick. I'll run down these real quick because they are very important, particularly for students that are new to these buildings and these districts. We have open house. Some open houses have already occurred, but this Monday will be the open house for the elementary students in the Jackson City School District, Northview Elementary, Southview Elementary, and Westerview Elementary. The open houses will be 5:30 to 6:15 p.m. at all those schools. The open houses for the middle school and the high school students in the Jackson City School District have already taken place. The middle school was last night, and I believe the high school was last Monday. The Wellston Middle School open house is going to be Thursday, August the 17th. Remember, Wellston doesn't start till the 23rd. In Oak Hill, the Oak Hill Elementary School and the Oak Hill Middle High School will have two open house events, both on August the 14th. That's this Monday.
Okay.
So that's coming up soon because they do start on Wednesday. Both of those open houses will run from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. The Vinton County High School will have their open house and orientation on Tuesday, August the 15th. Open house and orientation will be from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., so over a wider period to go in and get oriented and just see the facilities there. This is for anybody, but it's particularly for new students.
Okay.
Students who have moved in, new to the district, and are going to the high school for the first time. All right, and there's different times for that for the different classes. Seniors are welcome from 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Juniors from 12:30 to 2 p.m. Sophomores from 2:30 to 4 p.m. and freshmen from 4 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. And an orientation session, sit-down orientation session, will be held from 5:15 to 6 p.m. in the cafetorium. The administrators, the principal, vice principal, and counselor will all be there, and then everything will be over by 6 p.m. So we do have that information on all these open houses online in the Telegram, and some of that information will be reprinted in Saturday's paper because we know it affects a lot of people. We also have a pretty detailed release from the Vinton County local schools just about the start of school, start times in all the buildings, things that have to be done, shots and everything that students have to have in hand and done before they come to school on Wednesday.
Okay.
We also have the lunch and breakfast policy for the Jackson City schools, which has changed this year in Saturday's paper
Okay.
as well. That
So pay
affects a lot of
attention
kids.
to that.
Okay, here is a good news story about the start of school. And for the second year in a row, a Jackson High School senior by the name of Dane Neff. He did this last year before his junior year as well. He has completed a service project to help new kids in school. Last year, he did school supplies for the kindergarten kids.
Okay.
This year, Dane Neff spearheaded a drive to buy primary level books for the youngest students at Southview Elementary, and he did it at Southview because that's where he went to school.
Aw, that's so
And
cute.
I think we got a picture of Dane there. Dylan can get it up. And he is with Heather Michael, who is the Southview Elementary principal.
Okay.
And the donation, he was able to raise enough money to give books to all students at Southview, preschool through the first grade. That package also included
That's great.
literature to parents about the importance of reading. And, as an old fogey, I am so glad to see reading emphasized.
Yeah.
Because, you just get a feeling that there's a lot more keyboarding than there is reading these days.
I would
And that's
say
not
so.
against anybody. That's just the way things are.
Yes.
But there's nothing like picking up a book and reading it
Yep.
and not surfing. But anyway, these are elementary books. I saw a lot of Pete the Cats there, by the way.
Ah,
So congratulations to Dane Neff. He is a senior at Jackson High School and
Thank you, Dane.
on the soccer team. Okay, another good thing, there's been so many school supply drives, so I can't mention them all, but the Vinton County Health Department is having one tomorrow. It's going to be at the Vinton County Department of Developmental Disabilities office. That is on Industrial Park Drive north of MacArthur. But tomorrow, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., they're going to have a book bag giveaway. Limited supplies, so get there early. But they're going to give away 100 free book bags, and all of them are going to be stuffed with school supplies.
nice.
So this is open to anybody, and that is thanks to our friends from the Vinton County Health Department. All right, well, let's go to elections and politics real quick.
Oh,
I know
goody.
I'm sure you did a quick rundown on what happened with issue 1.
We did.
But I want to look at it just a little closer, and that is on voter turnout.
Okay.
And of course, the way it worked out, it was 57% to 43%. Issue 1 went down to defeat. That would, of course, if it passed, it would have changed the requirements to get an initiative constitutional amendment, that the citizens put on the ballot. It would have taken 60% approval rather than the 50% plus one person that it is now. So it'll say 50% one person.
Right.
Now, we'd like to say it wasn't a partisan issue, but it was.
Sure.
Generally, Republicans were for issue 1. Generally, Democrats were against issue 1. And there's other things at work there too. But there was, even though here in Jackson County and Vinton County and in rural counties, it was 59 out of 88 counties actually passed issue 1. And it was mainly the smaller and rural counties that were strongly in support of it.
Yes.
Vinton County, 62% approval. Jackson County, 60% approval. But it got hammered in the cities.
Yes, it did.
And here's the thing. It wasn't just because there's more people in the cities. It's because their voter turnout was higher as well.
Really?
Everybody was impressed with the turnout here for a special election, and it was surprising.
What was our turnout?
28% in Jackson
You're
County.
kidding.
30% in Vinton County.
Heck,
All right?
you can't get 5% of people to
that's
turn
higher.
out for a general election.
That's higher than the last primary election
Yeah.
for a special election. So, but it was upwards of 36 and 40% in the cities. And there's also more voters there as well.
That is insane.
And here is another breakdown that shows you have a lot of, on the cable news network, you have a lot of Republicans saying we need to get with, getting out the vote early voting and like that. Did you know that in the early voting in Jackson County, issue 1 was losing?
That does not surprise me.
Issue 1 was losing just barely with the early voting. And then on the same day voting, it just turned on its head completely. All right. If you look at statewide, early voting was monstrously against issue 1. And it got a lot closer after the votes were counted on election day. So that appears to be that the Democrats, and this is a general comment, are much better about getting out the early vote.
Getting out for early votes.
Right. And, you need to take advantage of that because, maybe you can't vote on election day or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a political lesson in there for both parties and proponents of issue and opponents of issue 1. Because, we're going to have another constitutional amendment on the ballot in November, and it's going to be a hot one. A proposed constitutional amendment will be on the November ballot that would guarantee abortion rights in the state. Now, right now, there is restricted abortions that are allowed in Ohio. All right. This amendment would make it easier to get abortions all the way through a period of pregnancy. All right. We'll see what the ballot language actually
Well, I was
says.
going to say, we don't know all the details of that yet, do we?
Well, we know what the proposal is, and we know that they had enough signatures to get it on the ballot. Those signatures now are being reviewed, but they got about 700,000 signatures, and they need about 450,000. So a lot of those signatures will have to be bad ones for that constitutional amendment not to be on the ballot. According to the Center Square News Service, which we use, and this is included in a story we have going in Saturday's paper, the proposed amendment would say every individual has a right to make and carry out their own reproductive decisions, including by and not limited to decisions on contraception, fertility, treatment, continuing one's pregnancy, miscarriage, care, and abortion.
Okay.
All those things are involved. It would prohibit abortion after fetal viability, except to protect the mother's life. It defines fetal viability as when a fetus has a significant likelihood of survival outside the uterus with reasonable measures. So I know that's a lot to take in at once, but we're going to be hearing a lot more about it, as time moves on. Now, another amendment that could be on, this is a little more iffy, would make recreational marijuana legal in Ohio. Now, 2 or 3 years ago, we started hearing about this in states like Washington, Colorado, and like that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of states,
it's a
more
thing
states
now.
have fallen in. And now this amendment will be on the ballot in Ohio if there are enough signatures. It was barely had enough. So it's more on the borderline of whether it will get on. But here's the big thing. This is why issue 1 was important. It's going to take 50% plus 1 now for those constitutional amendments initiatives to be approved. The legislature can still put on a constitutional amendment. They can do it, and they can even, but they can't block an initiative petition if the people vote for it.
So that was going to be my next question, Pete. Can the legislature come back and trump?
No, they cannot.
What the voters vote for?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, it becomes.
So if the will of the people is X, then the legislature can't come back really and say. Here's what I think the legislature can do. They can't take off that constitutional amendment they can cast, but they can put another one on themselves and do it again. Put the same issue back on, because the legislature can do that. All right, they can put they put issue 1 on. All right, so they can on the ballot,
right? So they can put on an amendment to outlaw abortion, for instance, after after the electorate just voted for it. But but they can't just do it. They just can't undo it, veto it, or rescind it, if you know what I'm saying. But they can put it back on the ballot.
But it has to go on the ballot, not them just voting
exactly.
for it. Okay.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is a way, and I think it's a good thing that people ought to be able to do that. The people ought to be able
I think
to have a law passed, and if they can't get the legislature to do it and the majority of people want it, and I know it was a debate whether it ought to be 50% or more, then, that avenue should be open. It is a democracy.
Yeah.
And I would say that, no matter what the issue is.
The will of the people should be what it is.
Yeah, it shouldn't be hampered, I think, or hindered. All right. On the law enforcement front, this is a story that Jeremiah Shaver got for us out of the Wellston Police Department. This occurred on Tuesday evening. A Wellston man was arrested that evening, and this happened after police received a 911 call from a woman who said her boyfriend had a gun and that she needed help. Well, to make a long story short, they went to that residence. It's on North Pennsylvania Avenue in Wellston.
That's a scary call.
28-year-old Zachary Clark of Wellston was found to be the suspect. He ended up being charged as a result of this domestic violence incident. That's how it was described. There is Zachary Clark up there on the screen. He was arrested and charged with kidnapping, domestic violence, felonious assault, and aggravated menacing. He is being held, I'll get this, on a $500,000 bond in the Jackson County Correctional Facility. And, they say this was a domestic violence thing, but because he had a gun, or he allegedly had a gun, or the authorities believe he had a gun, they believe that the female victim here was also being held against her will and probably being threatened.
Kidnapping.
And that makes domestic violence, which is serious enough, a much more serious thing with that kidnapping charge in there. Also, felonious assault would tend to make you believe that what happened was more than just someone getting slapped around.
Yes.
So felonious assault, you remember, is the same charge against James Coleman and MacArthur.
Correct.
And of course, the family claimed that he used weapons to an iron rod to beat Dakota Williams.
Yes. Yeah, I don't want to get into the whole explaining it, but
Right. You only
per se, had he, slapped her versus slapped her with the gun is felonious assault.
right.
There's
And-
assault where I would slap you, but if you use what's considered a weapon, then you get into felonious
or it can
assault
be a degree of a physical assault
of
too.
a physical assault.
Right. If it's just like if somebody gets beaten up badly, I mean, beyond just getting slugged or something like that, or getting a black eye.
Yeah.
If the beating, it's like there's an assault that is a misdemeanor and there's an assault that's a felony, and that's where you get felonious assault. And there is some the nature of the assault is such.
It can be a little gray.
It isn't just
but
because of a weapon; it's the degree of the
of
assault.
the assault. Okay.
Right, exactly. All right, this was an interesting thing that happened at the last Jackson City Council meeting. There was a proposal to change the organization of the fire department, of the fire department members. Now, we have a volunteer fire department in Jackson,
Yes.
but the chief and the assistant chief get paid a part-time salary,
Okay.
and the firefighters have gotten in the past a call-out fee and then a per-hour charge after the call-out fee.
Okay.
Okay, well, the administration had done some homework on the civil service laws and so forth, and their initial conclusion was that due to the law, they had to be considered as volunteers. It's not that they didn't want to pay them, but they had to be considered as volunteers, and there was a question about whether they had civil service protection. Now, what that means is if you don't have civil service protection, you don't necessarily have any redress if you're, say, terminated, and you feel like you were terminated without cause. So there was a concern by Councilman Ryan Peters, and if there was other concerns, they weren't really voiced. But when it came time to vote on this, all of council voted against this change. They did vote to give the chief and assistant chief a raise.
Okay.
And the volunteers, they were actually going to do a little bit better pay-wise under this new system that the administration proposed, but the council was not willing to say that they were volunteers without civil service protection.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of a murky area whether they are or not.
Interesting.
Mr. Swackhammer, the service director, did determine at the second meeting, he kind of revised his stance. He said they are civil service employees, but they're unclassified. So I'm not sure exactly what that means.
We're getting pretty technical here, aren't we?
I think it means that you don't have to be tested for sure when you take a position within the
Okay.
fire department. But I don't know what that means about a job action on the back end.
Okay.
But anyway, it was interesting because it appeared there, other than Mr. Peters, there didn't appear to be any opposition to what the administration thought needed to be done. But when it came time to vote without comment, they all voted against it.
Interesting.
But Mr. Peters felt that if there isn't civil service protection, that it would hurt the morale of the fire department, knowing that, a different mayor could come in and say, well, I don't like that guy. I don't want him to be on the fire department. He was concerned that would hurt the morale of a department when more firefighters are already needed as it is.
Sure. Definitely.
Okay, some other things to talk about. We want to say that another homegrown happy hour was held last night.
Oh, that's right.
And there is David Childers singing. It was a packed house again, as it always is. Our man Dylan and our man James Hamilton was there. There's a Rowdy Smokehouse, of course, and it will continue. There'll be live performances, each Thursday evening starting at 7 p.m. through September the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the live show, if you can find a seat, it is broadcast live on WYRO 98.7 FM here in Jackson and MacArthur, but also on our Athens station, WXTQ 105.5 FM.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, David Childers performed last night. And Dylan told me last night he was there and gave me a review. Another great performance.
Good, Dylan?
Yep, it was good.
Good.
All right. And of course, you've already covered the Ross County Fair. We're down the home stretch of that. Don't forget, on Saturday, if you haven't been there, Saturday night's the night to go. Everybody loves the Demolition Derby. Plus, they have a huge fireworks display at 10 o'clock.
There you go.
All right. We want to also give kudos to Elizabeth Fannin, former Jackson County Fair Queen, and also the first Jackson County to be named to the Ohio 4-H Teen Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Well, she had a kind of like a great moment for her at the recent Ohio State Fair. She was awarded an Ohio State Fair Hall of Fame Junior Fair Board Scholarship. And none other than Governor Mike DeWine, you can see there in the picture.
How cool.
Gave her the certificate signifying the fact that she is a scholarship winner. And so Elizabeth, I know she's studying. She's studying a related field of agriculture up there at the Ohio State University now. Of course, little sister Madeline was the queen of the Jackson County Fair this past year. So congratulations to Elizabeth Fannin. All right. I'm not sure where they're at on this. This was just announced in the middle of the week. They may be done or maybe they're still working, but the city paving project is going on in Jackson. The streets that they're working on now, or if they're done, they're done. We'll announce it. It's the section of Fairmont Street that's over by the cemetery, from Broadway Street to Triumph Street. The section of Triumph Street from George Street to Longworth Street, and the section of Longworth Street south of Broadway Street. All those streets are there on the far east end of town as you go out Broadway. And heading towards the 35 exit. So that's where the paving's taking place. If you're in those paving areas, you have to be aware not to park along the street when they're working.
Hey, we got Broadway Street paved. Everybody, woo!
I know, isn't that great? Everybody was waiting for that to happen. That was actually a state-funded project, so we
don't lose your car
didn't
driving
have to
down
spend
Broadway
a lot of
anymore.
city tax money on that.
Yeah.
Speaking of work on the streets, the city of Jackson has announced, because we have a lot of work going on in the west end of town on gas line work. This is for the Columbia Gas Company. I think they hire contractors to do the actual work. But the section of High Street, which is a main residential street in Jackson, between Oak and State Street, that's a pretty long section. It'll be closed on Monday, August the 14th, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. due to this gas line work. So, if you live along that street or you travel that street, during the daytime hours, you're not going to be able to get through. Now, they'll probably, let you get in and out of driveways and like that, but, they will actually close down that section of street so they can do the gas line
I will
work.
tell you, I had to drop Jamie off at work this morning, and they had Church Street closed off. It looked like they were doing curbs and some things like that. I saw that. So if you need to get down that way as well, a big portion of Church was closed down.
Right. I know that one of the things that the administration of Mayor Randy Evans has done is, the focus has always been on, streets, paving streets, because we were so far behind on that on the city streets. But they also are trying to do as they can curbs, especially along the street. In conjunction with paving sometimes, and sometimes just to fix the curbs. And I know that on down the line, Mayor Evans would like to find a way to get some sidewalks done as well. But that's, behind the paving. All right. I didn't know whether you were aware of this or not, but we're within several weeks of the Ohio Hill Country Festival.
Can you believe it?
Like I told you, we are transitioning. But there's going to be royalty contests that are going to be held next weekend for, Little Miss Ohio Hill Country Festival, Junior Miss Ohio Hill Country Festival, and, the teen Miss, the big girls. I always hate to say big girls. They don't have to be big, but, the older girls.
The queen.
Right, and you can sign up for that. You can sign up for that, I think, through Monday. But your time is running out on that. We have that information running in the paper as well, and we'll, of course, cover those contests. Also, if you go to the website for the Ohio Hill Country Festival, there is registration for a bunch of the contests that take place. Not only the royalty contest, but also the karaoke contest, the parade and coal miner Olympics, the dessert contest, the baby contest, the tent contract, the concessions contract, and the booth contract. All those things, if you want to be participating in or be part of the Ohio Hill Country Festival, you can sign up now. It's available on the website. All right, some other quickies to tell you about. The Margaret Ann Pool is going to host a dog swim on Saturday.
Oh, cool.
Now, I don't think there's going to be one at Hillcrest this year.
What?
It's not been announced. It's actually the dog pound that makes that happen.
Yeah.
And they've not been down at Oak Hill, and they ask, could you do a dog swim down here? So to my knowledge, there isn't one in Hillcrest unless they tell me about it later, they organize it. But there is one at the Margaret Ann Pool this Sunday, which is the last day for the pool. The pool will be open on Sunday afternoon, and then after they close it, Sunday evening, it'll be open to the doggies from 7 p.m. to
So
8:30
fun.
p.m. The cost of admission is only $1. There'll be concessions and raffles too, so they'll hopefully raise some money for the dog pound. And some of the money will also go towards the new dog park project in Oak Hill, and they're close.
Very
I
good.
think they're close to having that open. That's there at the Margaret Ann Pool and Park property.
Yep.
So that's the dog swim in Oak Hill.
Love it.
All right, and then the Benton County National Bank winner. Remind you, I know Amanda Crabtree was in
Yes.
here yesterday. A big event that the bank is having, a back to school bash tomorrow. They're at the. It's going to be Saturday, August 12th, from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at the grassy lot next to the bank's Depot Drive through in MacArthur. I'm not exactly sure where that is, but it's here.
You'll find it. It's where all the people will be.
Right. If you represent a nonprofit organization in Benton County and would like to participate, you can do that too. So it could really be a big deal in addition to all the things that the bank is doing on its own. They're going to have inflatables, lunch, goodie bags for kids. Savor Squirrel will be there. And they'll be grilling hot dogs. They'll have fresh popcorn. And they're even going to have a slushy machine. How about all that?
Hey, I'm up for that.
Okay, the Jackson area YMCA is having a community yard sale on Saturday. That's tomorrow. I'm talking about that Saturday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. There at the Y. It will be outside unless it rains. Is it going to rain tomorrow? Didn't we
No.
decide? Okay, well, that's good for the yard sale. All the money raised will go towards their financial assistance programs and operations. That is where they have a pot of money to help people participate who cannot afford an enrollment fee or a registration fee. Wonderful thing that the YMCA does. And basically how the community yard sale works is they rent out parking spaces, and that's where you set up your yard sale.
Okay, perfect.
So it's like a big old flea market.
Yeah, love that.
All right, another one going on tomorrow, the Hamden Firefighters Association. That is a good bunch of guys and girls.
Yep.
They're having a Chinese auction tomorrow. It will be from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the community building at 138 East Railroad Street in Hamden. I know they've been collecting items all summer long. They'll have a lot of things there that you can get pretty doggone cheap. And it will
Okay.
help the fire department.
One more thing that I have here from our friend Dennis Reinhardt. Students in Jackson County schools can get their back to school brand new haircuts for free thanks to Clips for Kids. And that event is this coming Sunday, August 13th from 1 to 4 at the Christ Church of Jackson on Portsmouth Street. That's the one next to the police station. They'll also have free school supplies, personal care items, and lice treatment kits to take home. Hot dogs, chips, a drink, and dessert. And you just come there, first come, first served. And students must arrive, though, with freshly washed and dried hair.
Right.
So, but free haircuts for the kids for school.
Right. And
That's great.
One other thing I wanted to say, I almost forgot to do this, and I would be remiss if I didn't. I want to pay tribute to the late Pat Willis.
Yes.
Lucretia was her name. Very few people knew that.
I didn't know
But
that.
she went by Pat.
Yeah.
And she was a revered educator
Yes.
in this town for over 30 years.
Yes.
A teacher, a guidance counselor, a psychologist, and an elementary principal. And she passed away at the age of 93. They had a celebration of life for her on Thursday there at the Christ Church. She was a pillar of that church. And if you looked at the comments on social media and whatever, she was just a beloved figure in the
Absolutely.
schools.
Yes.
I had her as a freshman English teacher,
Okay.
and I remember coming in. I was a little scared, and she really allowed me to open up in a subject that I really like. English and literature and grammar and all
Sure.
like that. Just very welcoming and encouraging figure in the schools, and that's what you want out of your teachers.
And look at you today.
Yeah, someone who can connect with
Yeah.
the students, and they make you feel like they care about you and they're friends. That was Pat Willis.
Absolutely. So, all right. Well, we've gone through quite a bit today, Pete, and thank you for stopping by. And thanks to our Jackson Ironmen football team captains for stopping by. That was a lot of fun to talk with them, Coach Hall as well. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Have fun. Do something good for yourself, Pete.
Right. And if you do something good for someone else at the same time, that's okay too.
Yes, absolutely. Have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll be right back here on Monday. Bye-bye.